Hi, good evening, Natasha. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Boniface. Good evening, Samuel Ayomide. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome to this webinar. To get your admission in 30 days. Yeah, I know it sounds like a fluke, but trust me, once we start and we have the global scholar himself right here, the person of Mr. Mr. Olushola Muson, you're going to get clarity on that. So, however, if you know of anyone that is supposed to be on this, that's supposed to join a fellow scholar like yours, please do feel free to send the link to them. It's time. Let's get started and let's eat it running before we have our guests join us. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so let's get started. Should you know of anyone that's supposed to be here, please feel free to send a link to them and let them enjoy and, of course, benefit from what you're about to benefit from tonight. So let me officially welcome everyone to the webinar, I Can Get You Admission in 30 Days. As we all know that the admission season is here and the clock is ticking. So if you're looking to secure admission into your dream school ASAP, like ASAP, this webinar is for you and you are right on track. So relax, bring out your pen, your jotters, any of your writing materials, and ensure to take notes. And we're so excited to, host our CEO and also co-founder here at Vesti, Mr. Olushola Muson. He's a global scholar, and he will be sharing insider insights, strategies, and practical steps to help you, fast track your admission process in just 30 days. Yes, 30 days sounds like a fluke, but once we get on this webinar, you're sure going to get the meaning of that 30 days. So you will be learning the proven strategies to accelerate your admission process. You also get to know the common mistakes that applicants, get to make and how to avoid them. And of course, you craft an irresistible application for yourself. Of course, here at Vesti, we're happy to do all of this. So these are insider tips that people don't get to share. And I'm so excited that our CEO will be breaking all of this. You know when they say you're going to shatter the table, he's going to shatter the table on this tonight. And I'm so excited to have you all. This is just the usual webinar that it is a chance for you to get, your mind ready, the things you need to get ready, the expert guidance, and the action you need to take towards your academic future. So welcome, dear scholars. I'm so excited to have you. Should you wondering, oh, is this right in front of you? It is I, Eniola. I'm the community manager here at Vesti, and I'm so excited to be doing this tonight. Okay, so we should get started in few minutes. All right, we have our CEO already here. Good evening, sir.
Hi, Henny. How are you doing? It's nice to be here.
Yes. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for joining. I know it's been busy. It's been a busy, schedule for you, and you still have to create time to be here. Thank you so much for having to share from your wealth of knowledge. So could we get to meet you on this webinar? I know we've met you before, but we'd like to know you again. Thank you.
Yeah, hi everybody. Nice to be here. If you're watching this webinar, whether today or any time in the future where you watch this webinar, my name is Olusola Muson. I'm co-founder and CEO here at Vesti, and I'm very passionate about global opportunities and access, and that's why we created Vesti to provide seamless immigration for people, seamless mobility across the world for people. And it's really exciting to be here today to share this. I first started thinking about going global several years ago. I would say particularly about 15 years ago. And I was thinking about all the pathways that are possible. And definitely education was one of the pathways I tried. And we have since helped several other people on their hundreds, to get the same opportunity. So it's always a pleasure to be able to share time with everyone here today. So whether you're watching on YouTube or someone has registered for this, hopefully we can reach out to some of those other people registered for this. You should grab somebody and definitely ask them to come here. So it's nice to be here. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so very much, sir. Let's hit it running. We don't need to wait. I know you're ready. So I don't know if your slides is with you, or we should just go like that, sir.
Yeah, no need at all. I usually like to use a narrative. So what I want you to do for me is, if you're the host, Boniface, you can pin my video, because for those who are watching on YouTube, it will help them to be able to see. It's usually the active person that they can see. So I think I can see that Boniface is the host, or whoever is using that account.
Yes, he is.
So you guys can help us. So again, one more time, welcome everybody to this session. It's tagged, I can get your admission in 30 days, because that's precisely what we're trying to do. And it's not the first time we're doing this. The narrative is based on the fact that if you can put certain things in place, you can actually, I don't know if anybody on this call or who is watching us on YouTube right now who has spent several months or maybe even years trying to get admission. People go ahead and pay agents, and when they do, it takes them, a long time to get turned around, and sometimes it could be really, really discouraging, So, and because of that, that makes it really hard for them, to be able to move on with their goals in life, and that's why we always, say, work with partners that you can trust, get the help that you can get, and that always helps. Somebody needs to help me grab whoever is the host of this session so they can do the right thing, because right now it's still Ennis video we can see as pinned. So if you guys don't mind, this would be really helpful. You won't be able to do it because you're not the host. Tell me, you're Vesti Tech, as I can see, Ennis. But if you can, please help us. So a
I've
lot of
pinned you
people get
already,
into
sir.
the hands of like maraudas, they pay money and they don't get any help. And because they don't get any help, it gets them stuck. And, it's always an issue. The first thing I always tell people is if you're actually thinking about going global, if you're thinking of moving abroad, the very first thing you want to do is to make sure you have an international passport. And if you don't have an international passport, you're going to delay the process for much longer. In some countries, it takes them 3 months, sometimes 6 months to get an international passport. So you will hear people say, I've been working on my admission for 2 years, but actually what you've been working on are the requirements before your admission, not actually your admission. So we try to tell people that to get college admission, to be able to make it happen, you want to start out with like making sure you have all your requirements in place. The first step is to have an international passport. Second step is to get your university transcript. And university transcript, usually people have the mindset that, hey, I have to send my university transcript to their school that is involved, but that's not true. You want to try to get your university transcript for yourself first, like a student copy. Student copies are enough to be able to evaluate yourself and get yourself college admission. But people get stuck in the process of waiting 3-4 months to get their transcript from their university, especially in countries like Nigeria, where things can be a little tricky. So they wait and wait and wait and wait. And what we've told people is try to get your student transcripts, your personal student copy with yourself. And if you have your student copy by yourself, then you can definitely then use that as a copy to use temporarily before you now get the main admission. Sort of like, when you get the provisional admission, you will be told to get the original copies, and by which time the copies from your school would have arrived. So those are some of the ways that you can begin to think about this, right? However, a lot of people wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, and it keeps, becoming a problem for them. So basically, that's part of the acts, that we have as far as this is concerned. I'm going to start with telling my story. So a couple of years ago, I wanted to move abroad. I wanted to go ahead to go to school, and I came to the US for a short conference, which was supposed to last about a week. And that short conference, I had the responsibility within that short conference to get university admission, to get college admission. So this admission was going to be, it has to be something I can get within the period that I'm in the US before I go back. So imagine if I had to use 6 months to do that. I don't have 6 months. I only have 1 week. So, and that's why when we assure you that we can do it in 30 days, what we're really saying is that, number one, we have access to the best schools. Number two, we have access to schools who make their decisions really fast. Number three, we know how to guide you. We have templates for all the documents they're asking for, like references, financial affidavits. Some people will use 3 months to look for statement of account. We have ways around it to be able to help you to make sure that you get the statement of account faster. We have advisors who can guide you on the financial components of things like your finance and things like that. So within a week, there were 3 of us, and we needed to get admission. We got admission to 2 colleges, University of Houston, Clear Lake, and also Santa Clara University in California. So these 2 schools gave us offers that was okay, and we were able to get our I-20 right away. Your I-20 is literally like your sponsorship document as a university, for the university to tell the consular in your country that you are coming to their school. So the I-20 is what the equivalent of CAS is for the United Kingdom, for instance. So the United Kingdom has the United States I-20, and these documents are needed by the consulate to be able to process your admission. So within a week, we got that. And since then, if you're trying to get into a school, I would tell you, look for the low barrier schools that make decisions really quickly, schools that are not super competitive. They're very competitive. Sometimes not because you're not good enough, it's because when they did the yardstick and looked at it, they looked at the score, the prestigious nature of your undergraduate school you're coming from, where your transcript is coming from, whether you graduated top of your class, all those kind of things are put into consideration. So sometimes you may be going 3-4 years at loggerheads with a school that you think should have taken you, but they won't. Why? Because you're basically not maybe from academic performance standpoint, that's not the type of school you should go to. But I've seen many people who came to schools first and then transferred to a better school when they got to America as well, when they got to the UK, because it's allowed here. So but rather than holding up yourself for 3-4 years, our team is able to guide you specifically on what you can do to be able to make sure that you get that help that you need. So pretty much, that's a very major way we like to approach this. So even though eventually like that wasn't the pathway that I used to move to the United States, because I had the other privilege of being able to move with the O1 route, but there's just so many of our students who, when we first started investing, we created a Telegram group. We were able to guide them to get to schools in Spain, in France, in the United States, in the United Kingdom, and that's just been like something really terrific that we've been able to do. That we've been able to do. I don't know whether it's my view, but I still don't think that my view is still the main view on this webinar. And I have Natasha, I have Isaac here. I think you guys should find me some help because I don't know, let me see, because it's supposed to be in speaker view and I'm still seeing Eniola as the person. So it seems like maybe it's pinned or something.
I pinned you already, sir, from my
Yeah,
end.
it's not pinned the way it's supposed to be. It's not. Like I've used Zoom for many years and you guys use Zoom every day. So I expect that you should be able to give people like, the full view. So I don't know what, I don't, Boniface, maybe he's here or is not here, or Isaac, I see all of you here, but none of you can help me. I'm talking the last 15 minutes, so please, guys, like,
I'm on it, sir.
yeah. So anyways, so now, how do you get started with it? How do you get started with this process as a person? First, it's important that you get those preliminary documents that I just talked about. A lot of people want to move abroad, and one of the biggest issues right here is the knowledge gap. Even if you're going to outsource your process to an organization, at least understand the step-by-step of that process. Understand the step-by-step of that process. If you understand the step-by-step view of that process, you would go a long way, a long way to be able to guide whoever. Also, it allows you to be able to know who is messing around with you. So if you had given your project to an agency to work on, it helps you to be able to know who is messing with you because you know what is next. You know that what you need to do when you get started with the process is that you should actually, number one, narrow down on the number of schools. Number two, decide which cycle you want to go to, whether it's winter, whether it's fall, so that this person working on your case is not just like working endlessly on it. You know that you have to be in school. Like if you're doing admissions right now, you're probably doing admissions for fall of this year. Fall means like the seasons around August, September, October, November, December. So if you're trying to go to the US or go to the UK now for the fall season, this is the time to start working on it. So before you start working with any agency or any organization or consultancy, at least you should know what time of the year that you are trying to get admission for, and then narrow down on the area, on the type of school, the part of town that you want to go to. All of that is very, very important when you're deciding which school to eventually choose on this process. When you're done with that, you want to think about like what the financial ability you have is. What will be the source of your finance? What will be the source of your finance? It's just pinned, Isaac, I don't like that. It's pinned, sir. Boniface confirmed. So that means it is now pinned. It's just been pinned like about a minute ago. So that's it. I'm sure people on YouTube can now see that it's pinned. The issue with that is when you do the replay of the video, like you watch the replay, they'll be hearing the voice of somebody, but they'll see Eniola just nodding. That's what's gonna happen. Like you guys should know this. Anyways, but thank you for helping us and helping everybody that's watching. Yeah, so basically, I'm almost lost my line of thought there, but you have to think about the financials. That's what I'm talking about. How do you plan to fund this process? How do you plan to fund this process? This process that you're trying to do. There are several sources of funding for education. It could be a scholarship. It could be a financial aid. People don't know the difference between scholarship and financial aid. Some financial aid also disguised as scholarship. They call them scholarships, but they're not really based on scholarly behavior or scholarly metrics. They're based on whether you're indigent, where you're coming from, and all of that. So I would usually bracket those into financial aid. and called scholarships. Scholarships are usually reserved for people who are considered scholars. And this is a truth that is very bitter to swallow for many of us. If you didn't graduate top of your class or with a certain maybe second class upper or distinction, you can look for scholarships for so long. If you graduated top of your class, that doesn't mean you automatically get scholarships, but at least you are positioned to get scholarships. So scholarships are there, financial aids are there, education trust funds are there as well. So like the PTDF programs, there are certain trust funds, that are created. For example, in Nigeria, if you're coming from outside Nigeria to study in Nigeria, there's actually education trust fund that funds our education, and that's why Nigerians pay very little for university education, both at the graduate and the undergraduate levels, because there's education trust fund. Also in the US, for those who are local to the US, usually there are trust funds here and there. And also there are loans, which is lending partners, organizations that provide student loans. In the US, there are quite a number of them. There's Fannie Mae and Sally Mae, I think. And then there's Empower, and then there's Prodigy. Those are private, and there are some that are government funds. Some of these student funds apply to international students, some apply to local students. But here we're focused on international students, right? So we'd focus on loans that are possible. Sometimes you can get, Empower or Prodigy directly by yourself, but many times you need guidance. At Vesti, we have partnered with some of these funders to be able to help you get through the process. So I'm going to eventually go ahead and do a demo and show you something, but just before I do that, people ask themselves the question, should I take a student loan? Should I not take a student loan? And the argument I make for it is, it really depends on how you plan to live your life. If you're taking the education because you want to improve your career and move to the next level in your career, an education loan is definitely worth it. If you're going to be an entrepreneur or somebody who is like trying to build a business, it might not be worth it to take an education loan. But if you are going to join a corporate organization like tech companies like HP, Microsoft, Amazon, Web Services, Netflix, and all of that, or you're going to, join accounting firms like Deloitte, the Big Four, Accenture, all of these guys, if that's your goal and you're taking an MBA, you should definitely take a loan for it. It allows you to go to the best schools, and it gives you the motivation to be able to push hard in your career. For most people I've seen, like they take an education loan, come for a master's degree, land a job in a Big Four, and at the end of the day, paying their loan is super easy. But if you can't take a loan of $150K to go to school or $50K to go to school, I mean, $1,000 now, which is available. Like our team provides you loans from $10,000 to $100,000, and so the financial part of the whole thing can be sorted. But yet, we still provide you advisory. We'll provide you advisory, we'll provide you thoughts and ideas about what exactly you should do. And this advice guides you through the process as well, so that you determine whether you should take a loan or whether you shouldn't take a loan. We also provide you with support to succeed at the loan application. What should you prioritize? What should you put first? What should you do first? Should you provide some form of equity in terms of an amount, that you can do? Eniola, I will tell you when to send the links or the stuff. So, let me just provide information first. So we'll provide you with guidance and advisory on the specific things that you must do to be able to make sure that, you succeed and have a chance. Sometimes people just go ahead and say, I've been rejected 3 times by Prodigy. I've been rejected 3 times by Empower, but there's something you're doing wrong that we can guide you on. Sometimes you haven't chosen the schools they support. Sometimes you haven't, filled the forms correctly, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And it doesn't matter which country you're from, whether you join from Kenya or join from Ghana, you join from Nigeria, or any of the countries where we operate, or you're watching this as a replay from the app, essentially, getting the support requires, like I say, it takes a village to be able to get you. It takes a village. It takes a village to provide you guidance to do this. And we are that village. We provide you all that support to be able to get started with it and do great with it. So if you're somebody who really is interested in the 2025 cycle, and you want to get into, this program, you want to get admission real quickly, you need to work with our team to guide you. It's really not it's not a compromise. Otherwise, 2027, 2026 will come, 2027 will come, and still the other way. You also need a team that provides some form of quality assurance that will keep applying for you until we get you the admission. Like, we will keep working on it. Even if you get the admission and you go for your visa interview and something happens, you didn't get your visa, we'll guide you to reapply again and again and again until you get it. Because at Vesti, our students don't give up on their dreams. So for education, we really, really are passionate about education being the pathway. One of the advantages, in case you are still trying to decide, is that for most countries, you are allowed to be able to bring your dependents. I know the UK recently reneged on that, but for special programs, we know the programs to recommend for you that is going to ensure you can still bring your family members. So for the UK, for example, there are special research programs, and also PhD programs that if you get on, they allow you to bring your family. But for the US, they're still very supportive of that, So understanding where the finance is going to come from is very, very important. For some of you that are scholars, you have a 2-1, you have a first class, like, we can show you ways to get financial aid and also to get scholarships as well. We always post scholarships on our platform, as well. And there are also campus jobs and opportunities that you can take that can also really help you. So there's a lot of opportunities that are going on here, that you can take a look at. For me, everyone sending links, still take it easy for now, right? Like, we haven't got into questions, we haven't got into action items. I'm just trying to share stories with people, right? All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Because now you're clogging my chat now, and people are wondering, what are you sending? And you're also going to be distracting people. So I'm going to show you something real quickly. If you just joined us, we're on how you can get admission in 30 days. So I see that Dekile just joined us recently. I see you, Benjamin. I see you, Joyce. I see you, Sink. And some of you on YouTube. I can't see your names right now, but I'm glad that you're able to join us as well. So I'm going to attempt to share my screen and basically just walk you through what the education page at Vesti looks like. Because it's where you need to go to, where you are trying to understand what we do at Vesti. The first thing is to be able to even understand which schools we support. I know some people go like, well, this is the school I want to go to, and you don't support it. Well, we're going to work on it to make sure that we can add more schools. But as of now, we're supporting over 1,000 schools. And there has to be one school that you like out of these 1,000 schools. I just sent a request to the host to allow me to share. So I hope the host is here to be able to allow me. Okay, I think it says I can share now. Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to find my window. Okay, so it's right here. So please confirm once you can see my screen in a moment.
Yes, sir, we can, sir.
Thank you. So the website to go to is right here, wvesti.com/schools we support. All right. If you visit our website, you can also find it, under migration services, or by going to the base of the website and clicking on migration services, financial services, education loans right here. All right. That's another way you can find it, just at the footer. But if you want a direct link to it, that's the link I would ask Eniola to also share on the group right now, on the chat right now, or Bumi, wvesti.com/schools we support. If you can share it and pin it on YouTube as well, that would be super helpful. All right. So if you visit this page right now, we have like the international student loans page. If you need a loan directly, you can apply. But typically for people who still need an admission, because to get a loan with us, a student loan, we always ask you for your admission offer. So, but you can start with the admission first. So if you click on need help with admission, it's basically going to take you on to a page where you can get on a clarity call. But before we do that, I'm going to basically show you this. So first, the schools that we support, right? Here are some of the schools you support, and all you just need to do is, if you currently have an admission offer, you need a loan. Let me start with that. You just need to come on our website and search for your school, and you don't need to scroll like that. You can actually make a search here and search for Columbia, for example. If you maybe got admission in Columbia, and you would be able to find like the schools that have Columbia in them. So you have University of British Columbia, but you have Columbia University in the United States, which is right here. so you can see the schools that we support here. All right. And there are over 1,000 of them there, like I said. So there has to be one school that's, that you like. In the UK, there are schools in the United Kingdom. There are schools in the United Kingdom as well. There's schools in the UK, there's schools in Spain, that are here as well. There's schools in Canada. So it's 1,000 schools in like 5 countries. So these are some of the schools we support. Also, if you're on the mobile app, you can do the same thing. All right. And if you need help with admission, we need you to come on a clarity call, which is an advisory call, to get started with the process. And also, we have a special package, which basically is an end-to-end hand-holding service. This end-to-end hand-holding service provides you with the opportunity to get quite a number of things, right? Can you see the students and migration loan advisory clarity? Can you see that right now? Is that what you see right now? Okay, great, fantastic. I wasn't sure whether it's sharing the entire window. Okay, so basically some of the things you get, I want to focus on this, is that you get a personalized loan eligibility assessment. You get to know loan options, you get to know optimization tips for application, and a step-by-step guidance through the process. And we would also provide you the support with the actual, education, process. We're going to help you with the admission process. We're going to help you with like every single thing that needs to be done as far as this process is concerned. So it's always like a really, really supportive process throughout the entire pathway, right? And it's not just about getting a loan. It's really about like choosing the right school, choosing the right course, and all of that. Now, the question that most people ask is, do I need to get a loan? Do I need to get a loan? Must I get a loan if I work with you guys for admission? No, you don't have to. You can actually get the admission, get support with your visa interview, go to the interview, share your testimonials with us, and maybe find another way to fund your program. But it's just that most people that we work with, especially in Sub-Saharan Africa and other emerging markets, actually have the challenge with financial services. And most students, like 2 out of 10 students, only 2 out of 10 students can actually afford the programs that they're going for. 80% of people, this year alone, we've had a request of over $3 million, which is more than 4.5 billion naira of people asking us for loans this year alone. Like the finance team, I have a representative from the finance team on the call of people asking us, and we've gotten loan approvals of over 100 million this year. And we wish that we could get even more, and many of the people asking for these loans don't have admission yet. Many of the people asking for loans don't have admissions with schools that we do not support. And that's why we're doing these sessions more and more, to make sure that there are more people who are aligned with the loans that are available and the finance that is available. So if you can work with us to choose a school, to choose a path, that really helps. Now, we don't charge for loans. We don't charge you to give you access to a loan. The only thing we charge for is the concierge service itself, which is basically how we provide you with an account officer or somebody who will walk you through the entire process, help you with the application, with the forms, guide you through all of those things, and as well as provide you interview coaching, interview readiness, and so on and so forth. So this is an holistic support that is provided for you. And the onboarding is typically, it goes this way. We have a clarity call or a consulting call that people pay for. When you pay for that clarity call, we're not saying you should pay us all the money, for the concierge service. We're saying pay for only the clarity call and have this session. And whatever you paid for the clarity call, so we don't waste your time and you don't waste our time. Because when we used to do it for free, people wouldn't show up on the call even after they've scheduled, and they waste the time of our officers. But this time around, our experts can come on the call with you, share with you the update, make a presentation to you, and whatever amount you paid is going to be charged towards the overall amount. So it's fair for everybody. And this model has helped hundreds of people. Right now, the program, if you are watching from Nigeria, costs about 2 million naira. You can ask your officer, or you can send us an email to find out the pricing for your country, since I can't begin to mention per country right now. But we have a discount going on where we are running a a discount that discounts to about 1.5 million, I think, for anybody that is watching this particular stream, Naira. And what that does is it takes care of the entire white glove service that we provide you through the process. The only thing you have to worry about is the application fees for the schools, because we apply to about 5 schools, so you still have to cover that. Although we also have schools that waive application fees. If you have a GRE score or a GMAT score, that is good enough at a certain threshold, there are schools that waive application fees. But once you make this payment, you know that we're going to support you through the process. But what I always say is just get on the clarity call and get all the support that you need. And the amount you paid for clarity call will be charged towards the overall sum. So it will be deducted from the overall sum. So it's not lost at all, and the key thing here is just the assurance that that, okay, I have a partner that is working with me, that's done this before, and that will be able to help me to get through this process, and I can focus on other things, other areas of my work. I think that is really, really the value proposition here, and it's just been a phenomenal time helping hundreds of people and getting a lot of testimonials. You can check out the testimonials of several people on our own page, who have moved to the UK, moved to the US, moved to Canada and other places as well for the purpose of this program. If you have any general inquiries or questions during this webinar, after this webinar, anytime, you can actually email us at edu, that's edu, at weavest.com. Edu, it's been put in the chat right now, edu at weavest.com, because when you do that, you can easily follow through with what's going on. And if you need maybe to set up a quick call, they can set up a quick call for you. Usually we prefer video calls that are set up via conference calls, tools like Zoom or Google Meet, just to make sure that we can provide you with a recording, and essentially be able to help you through the process. And with our app as well, if on the mobile app, if you have the mobile app of Vesti, which you should download and create an account, you can go to education pathways and then see the different type of education pathways, education programs that are available, and the type of loans that are available as well. So I don't know if this has been helpful for anybody. I know I've been talking for about 30 minutes. I just wanted to walk you through what the offering is, what the process is, and the tons of testimonials that are available, from many of our audience. I know, Natasha, if you can share, if you are allowed to share your screen as well, if you can share some of the testimonials, and I can go through them real quickly, while maybe we ask if anybody has any questions, or in your life you have some questions in mind as well that you think I haven't yet answered. You're muted, Eniola.
All right, thank you very much, our dear global scholar. It's been quite insightful, and I love the fact that you had to tell a story with it, so people will be able to know where you're coming from and the experiences you've had in having to be the best fit to put them through this. I can get you admission in 30 days. However, I would like to ask a particular question. So in a sense, when you've tried all you could, but perhaps maybe, okay, let me start from the point that, is there any age limits for any of these schools? Or if I'm 40, if I'm 30, if I'm 50, can I apply? Is there any age limits?
So basically, there are no set age limits for most of the schools. Like for any school, as a matter of fact, I've seen people who are 70 go back to school, but the demographic we serve is already a guide to this. We're usually working with people between 18 and 40, who are trying to get back to education, either as a path for migration or just as a path for general career development and growth, So, but none of these schools actually states that, oh, if you're a certain age, you won't be able to, or you have a less advantage because you're a certain age. No, that's not true. The same requirements matter. Do you graduate with a degree? Do you do the prerequisite programs? If you didn't, do you have explanations for it? Do you have your financial affidavits? Do you have references? Another thing people struggle with is references from the schools they graduated from. Like, many people just disconnect completely once they leave the school. And so it's so hard, for them to get references, academic references especially. But all you need to do, your professors are still there, your doctors are still there. There has to be somebody. You can't just be waiting, sending emails. Some of you have to actually leave where you are and go back to the school have a meeting with them, discuss with them, tell them what you're trying to do, and you'll be surprised they will help. For schools where emails work and phone numbers work, they will help as well. You know, and I'm always met with the skepticism that you don't know the school I finished from. If you know the school I finished from, they're so wicked, they're so this. I agree with you. I understand. But this is many years later. There are other people in the department. There are other people who taught you that are still there. There has to be one person or two persons who is good enough who can say this. And usually there is a template. So you're usually happy to follow that template and just say, okay, I can provide academic reference for this person. And, you know, so it shouldn't be that hard, you know, and you just have to, like, you know, go through the process and be able to get it. Let's see if there are questions from YouTube or anywhere else.
I'm currently on YouTube, sir, and no questions for now.
Okay. Okay. Do we have any questions from guys who are here? Benjamin, David, Tekile, Joyce. Do we have any questions?
I have a particular question though, and I
Okay, yeah, sure. Go on while we get, yeah.
Okay, is there a particular field or of study or program that fast track admission process?
Well, the answer is no. Depending on what your interest is. If you want to do a master's in Yoruba theology, you know, there are schools. The key thing is to find schools who have good turnaround time for admission. There are some schools that agents apply to, so-called agents, and many of these schools actually already, their websites are bad. Like the websites, they didn't even receive your application, you know, and people don't know. They just be waiting for months. There are schools that we work with that we already know that, okay, this is how their system works. If you send something online, you also have to send it via email. So there are nuances around these things, but it doesn't matter what course it is, you know, that can speed up. It's usually dependent on the school, on the type of school that you are working with. Yeah. I've talked about scholarships. Dikile, you joined late. You know, people that join my session late and challenge us that we didn't talk about something. It's better to say, did I miss when you talked about X, Y, Z? So we did talk about scholarships. So there are scholarships based on being a scholar, and there are scholarships based on being being indigent, meaning that you need financial aid. You know, there are partners that we work with, like Scholarships Cafe, that you can check their website out. They have tons of scholarships that they've shared there. Also, we post scholarships on our website. You know, every now and then there is if you click under Migration Fries, click on scholarships, you'll find scholarships, and we're always posting more as well. You know, so definitely scholarships are a valid way to fund your admission. So this session is not about funding your admission. I just branched a bit. We had a session last week about financing your admission, and we still have subsequent sessions. And you can email us Migration Loans to learn more about scholarships and about loans that are available. The link to our scholarship page as well can be emailed to you. But if you go on our website and click on Migration Fries, you're going to see jobs, scholarships, and news. You can click on scholarships. The clarity fee is 96,000 naira, I think. You know, it's right there on our website, and it's charged towards the entire process, like I said, and it's going to be deducted. So it's definitely worth it. So if you take it on today, it's going to be 96,000. I think it's normally 100 and something, but I think it's for 96,000 today from what they've shared. So try and take it up today. Yeah, thank you, Grace, for that question. Thank you, Dekile, for that question. Joyce, do you have any question? Shlink, do you have any question? Are there any questions? Natasha, is there something you would like to add? I don't know if Natasha is here anyway, because for a moment ago, I asked about the sharing of the screen, but I haven't heard anything. So how can prospective applicants leverage student programs to secure residency or work opportunity at destination country? So thank you, Isaac. Great question. So that's an example of like what we do at Vesti. So the beginning is that you're getting admission. The second thing is when you get admission, what's the next thing? You're going to get a student visa. When you get a student visa, you are done with it. The agent that helped you in Nigeria does not even know the process because he has not left Nigeria. But for Vesti, we're a global organization, so we can help you move from that admission offer to a OPT, optional practical training, We can move you from there to like a sponsorship. We can move you from there to like a green card. So we have all the entire layout of what you can do until you become a citizen. So that's another advantage of working in the university ecosystem. Can you work with someone who's 46 to apply for a student loan? Absolutely. If they have admission, they have admission into a school with support, age is not the problem at all. Age is not a problem at all, because you might decide to go and do your MBA at 46. There's nothing wrong in it. Like, you've been working all your life, now you want to move to the next level, and you need an MBA. My mom did a master's degree, another master's degree, I think, when she was 45. So and she has 3 degrees, and she has said she's not going to do a PhD, but I kind of feel she will do a PhD at some point. So age is really not, and she's going to be 60. So age is really not an issue at all. All right. So Joyce, thank you for that great question. Okay.
Sir, I would like to ask a question also. Do each country, I mean the UK, US, Canada, do they have different process of application when it comes to schools? Maybe
Absolutely. Even within the US, schools have different processes and application procedures. And that's another thing. Like, it's hard for a student, one single student who is trying to move to the US, to figure out all of the different methods that are available. So it's always very stressful. But for an organization like ours, we've dealt with multiple schools. So because we've dealt with multiple schools, it helps us to know precisely what matters or what suits you or what will work for your own case. And in our interest, really, what we're trying to do is to make sure you get the admission quickly, so that we can also support the next person, the next person, the next person. So, in doing that, we make sure that we choose the right school and also provide support with you to you through the entire process. So distinctively, the US differs from the UK, obviously, like, because another country entirely. The document names are different. The financial affidavit requirements are different. The level of due diligence by the embassies are also different. Apart from biometric capturing, the UK doesn't have an interview process. The US has a visa interview process. So there's a posture you must take if you are trying to get the US student visa versus if you wanted to get the UK student visa. There are also some nuances. If you get the UK student visa and you're trying to bring your family eventually, it's a lot easier versus if you got the US visa and you're trying to bring your family. Usually it's better for the US to bring your family once and for all, versus the UK, where you can still play around with that and go first and then bring your family later. So these are all the things we advise. And guess what? There's no hard and fast rule by what I just said now, because immigration policies change very quickly, but we are able to know what is obtainable at different times to be able to provide you support with this.
Thank you very much, sir. I wouldn't know if there is anyone left with questions to ask. Ask questions, so because this is an opportunity you wouldn't want to miss. So if you're YouTube and you're watching, or you're going to be watching after now, feel free to send us email. We'll be glad and willing to answer your questions and attend to your inquiries. Do we still have more questions? Let me call names. Seem like some persons are shy. All right, so do we still have questions, please? David, we have Grace. Grace has, okay. So what role does language proficiency and cultural integration courses play in education-based migration programs, and how do they affect the overall migration process?
Yeah, so there are programs that clearly require language proficiency, especially in countries like Canada, where you have to have done IELTS and all of that. There are also many schools in Canada that, advocates have been able to work on to make sure that the requirement for IELTS is removed. And this is why you can't just say, I'm going to a school because I saw it on TV or a friend of mine went there. You have to go to a school because you have the requirements that fit. I've seen people saying I'm processing admission for 5 years before we started investing, especially. And this is because you're just at loggerheads with a school that you don't meet the requirements. So there are programs that are for cultural integration. There are some programs that, that you could have done that would help. For example, if you take a French course, or you did a program with the British Council, or you did a program with an American corner that shows that you are going to integrate better. Some of these certificates, or mentioning them in your letter of motivation or statement of purpose, can go a long way. If, for example, you spoke about, being part of a non-profit that worked with the Ford Foundation when you were 15 and 16, so exposing you to cultural nuances of the United Kingdom, and you put that in your statement of purpose, an admission officer can read that, and because of that, give you priority admission over someone else. So language proficiency, cultural integration is really, really important, when it comes to this. But we also know ways to be able to apply to schools that can give you IELTS waiver, TOEFL waiver, French TEF waiver, and so on and so forth. I think we spent a very considerable amount of time sharing today, and some of the things we've shared, are bordered on the preparation you need to make to be able to get admission in 30 days. You need to have your passport ready, have your student transcript ready. We can provide you guidance on how to get your student transcript faster. You also need to be ready to narrow down on the type of schools and where, which country. And that's where our advisors come in. Through the Clarity Call, they can share with you what the process is, which schools are top schools. Every week, we also share University of the Week on our LinkedIn and on our social media. And the University of the Week is to expose you to, different schools and why they are important, what the tuition is, so that you can make these comparisons. These are things that many roadside agents don't want to tell you. They don't want to tell you about the advantage of one school over the other. Some will lead you to go and pay for expensive schools so they can get commissions on the tuition and things like that. Meanwhile, when we share these schools, we're trying to educate you on the process, because the more you understand the progress end to end, the more you have control over the entire process. And that goes a very long way to be able to help you at the end of the day. So really, that is it. What I wanted to share today. One thing is you can be sure of is that you can be guaranteed of quality, and the fact that our team has the commitment to be able to help you through this process and eventually help you to move abroad through education. If you are just joining us or you joined this session late, there will be a replay of it sent to your email. If you registered and couldn't attend today live, we're also going to be sending it to your email. And this replay will also be made available in the webinar sections inside our mobile app. And there are many other webinars that we have done in the past that you can watch the replay as well, right from the webinar section of our mobile app. I wish you guys the wonderful, wonderful weekend, and hope that you get to work with us soon and we get to work with you to make your dreams come true.
All right. Thank you so very much, boss. Thank you for having to grace this webinar. We're so excited. And Dekile Kun is saying, this is great. Well done, Bestie. Thank you, Dekile. And I hope when next I'll hear from you, it has to be that you're getting on the Clarity Call. Yes. All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much, everyone. And enjoy the rest of the weekend. And I'm looking forward to hear you put in for the Clarity Call. Thank you. Good night, sir. Good night, everyone.